Welcome back to Lawyerist Lens. Today we're going to talk about the client experience, which starts the very first time a client or a potential client encounters you, whether that's autocomplete in search results or meeting you at an event, and it ends when you finally close the file and say goodbye to them for the last time. And those cumulative client experiences, all of the experiences that your clients have and all of your clients have add up to your reputation. And that's why it's so important to care about them, because your experiences that you are creating for your clients are ultimately what they and others are going to believe about you and the kind of service they're going to get when they hire your firm. Number one, this is actually really easy to do. You should do this with all your clients, but you can start by just picking 5 or 10. Ask them what you could do to improve the service that they received. Don't let them cop out and just say, oh, it was great. That's what people want to say because they just don't want to have to think about it, or they don't want to say anything that might offend you. Insist on a real answer and tell them, you're not going to offend me. I just want to know how I can make this better for the next client. So insist on a real answer. I used to do that after closing every file, and I got lots of really interesting ideas and opportunities to improve that really changed the services for my clients. I think you can start by doing it with 5 or 6 or 10 clients who are recent clients, but then you can keep doing it every time you close a file. You can start with an email, follow it up with a phone call, and do your best to get a real answer without hounding people and pissing them off, obviously. Number 2, hire a secret shopper. Not actually a shopper, and it doesn't have to be that secret, but give somebody a fact pattern that is typical of one of your clients. Just take a recent client and write down a summary of it, and ask a friend or family member, or ideally somebody who you don't actually have that personal connection with, to try and hire you. Don't give them your website, don't give them your phone number, don't even give them a business card. Just challenge them to find your firm online or however they want to, and call up your phone number, do your intake, deliver the fact pattern, pretend they are a potential client, and go through those initial processes of trying to get you to be their lawyer. And afterwards, obviously debrief with them. Where did they run into problems? What was confusing? Did they just not even succeed? What was the impression they got when you or your intake staff picked up the phone? What was their experience of that process? And I think you'll learn a lot about what a typical client has to go through before they get to your door. And that'll be really revealing, and you might be able to remove some of those roadblocks or smooth out that experience for people. Number 3, revisit your retainer. If your retainer agreement is a 9-page, 10-point contract that you just slap on the desk and tell people to read and sign, you can do better. That is sort of the first transactional piece of your relationship with your clients. It's an opportunity to really cultivate the experience you want your clients to have with you and to set expectations for the rest of the representation. So start over with your retainer if you need to. Reduce it in pages, expand the font, run it through a graphic designer to make it beautiful, and use it as a checklist for a conversation that you have with your client. Because when you lay a thick, wordy, tiny print contract on the table in front of someone, it feels like you're setting a trap for them, because it's full of small print surprises that they may not anticipate. And it feels like down the road, they might get trapped by some of that stuff. There's no substitute for actually having a conversation about things that matter, from how your clients want to communicate with you, to how you're going to get paid in a contingent fee arrangement, to whether or not you get to use things from their lawsuit or things they say about you as testimonials or in your media campaigns. Whatever it is that you need your client to understand is better delivered to them face to face in normal words that humans understand. So use your retainer as a way to set the tone for the rest of the representation and set expectations and craft that client experience. Those are 3 things that you can do to get started, but start thinking about your representation in the bigger picture of the experience that you want your clients to have, and start looking for opportunities to improve it. I think if you start asking your former clients how you can improve things, if occasionally you have somebody else pose as a client and then give you feedback, and if you start with your retainer and start working your way through other documents that you have to execute or use with your clients, I think you'll find a lot of opportunities to improve. And by the time you've done all that, we'll have another video with more ideas. Before you leave, please subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when we release new videos, and check back next week for another Lawyerist Lens.